Hi guys and girls, I am going to talk to you today about median, especially the iXL level G X3, and I am not going to log on to the iXL, but instead I copied some problems down from the iXL that I actually want to work through with you on a piece of notebook paper so that you can see what I'm looking for when you log on to work through this as well. So I am going to go ahead and flip the camera so that you can see my work in progress. Okay, here we go. Okay, so when you log on to iXL, remember level G. We've been working a lot on level H, but this is level G. One of the things that you'll notice is the questions are all just asking about median. We're focusing on median, which is the middle number or the midpoint. And you'll also notice that when they're giving you the data set, none of the data is in order, which is super important. Make sure your data is in order, least to greatest. So, looking at this first question here, it asks what is the median, and we have some single digit pieces of data, and I just wrote a little side note that maybe they're looking for how many books students read in a month, or you could say how many goals were made in the game by each student. Regardless of the topic, you are going to take this data and put it in number order first. So my suggestion to you when you log on to iXL is to grab a piece of scrap paper, write the numbers down, all of the numbers down, the way that you see them, and then you can cross them off as you write them in number order to make sure that you're using all of those numbers. So I'm going to start with my 0, my other 0, then my smallest number I have left is a 2, I have a 3, I have a 4, another 4, then my smallest number is a 6, a 7, and an 8. That way you can see all of your numbers are crossed off and now they're in order from least to greatest. Okay? That's the hardest part about this whole iXL, because now comes the fun where you get to just cross your numbers off, least to greatest, least to greatest, least to greatest, until you see what's left in the middle, which is your median. So you may want to just lightly cross off and maybe even go the opposite way as you did above so that you can still read the number. Least, greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest. Here we have what's left in the middle. So our median for this set of data is 4. I also can point out to you a couple of things to show that you've done this correctly. One of them is if I count my pieces of data, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which tells me that the median is in fact going to be a piece of data that's already in the data set because I have an odd number of pieces of data. Another thing that I can take a look at here is I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of data on this side of my median and 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of data on this side of my median. Okay, next, what is the median? Again, I have some numbers that are not in order least to greatest. These may be numbers in a student's first and last name put together like we've been talking about in Investigation 1. I am going to start by putting them in order least to greatest. So I have a 15. Then I'm going to scroll through. I have a 17. The nice thing about working this out paper pencil is if I make a mistake, I can always go back and change it. So here I have a 20. Here I have another 20. I have a 21. I have a 23. I have a 26. A 28. And another 28. So let's see, I got all of my pieces of data. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of data here. And I'm going to crisscross right, left, or least greatest, leaves me with 21 in the middle there. I can see I have 4 pieces of data on each side, which tells me that I should have done that correctly. Okay? If you're not sure, you can always go back and redo the problem again on another piece of scrap paper, on the back of this piece of scrap paper, save some space. You could ask one of your friends to Google Meet and work on the same problem with you, and then you can compare answers. You could even challenge mom or dad or grandma or grandpa at home to do the problem and compare answers with them. I think that they would love to challenge you, and I'm sure they're up for the challenge. This is something they're very capable of. All right, let's do one more. I like this one because if I count the number of pieces of data here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have an odd number of pieces of data, but this time it's 7. And the other problems that we had 9 pieces of data. So, you know what I'm thinking here? Let's add another piece just to make it an even number of pieces of data, and let's see what happens. I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this a little. Let's add another 80. Let's do 84. Why not? And these could maybe be test scores for students. So I'm going to go ahead and rearrange these in order least to greatest because we haven't done one that has an even number of test scores yet, and I think that's important for us to talk about here before we move on. So I'm going to rewrite these: 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 88, 89, and 90. Okay, so let's crisscross. Oh, and there we go. That's what I was looking for. We have a piece of data that has an even number amount, and so our median falls right in between 87 and 88. So that is going to be 87.5. Okay, now let's say, for example, because this may come up in your iXL, I'm going to just say, for example, what if our numbers are spread apart a lot more, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of data, and they're really spread apart. They're already in order least to greatest, and we have to find the median. And I crisscross, 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 and I'm stuck between these two, okay? You are still going to go with the number that comes right in between 40 and 50, right in between there, which we know would be 40, 45 comes right in between those two. Now let's say, for example, I change this and let's say this is actually 42. Okay, now I need to figure out what comes between 42 and 50, right in between 42 and 50. So that's a difference of 8 numbers. I could think, 8 numbers, half of 8 is 4, 42 plus 4 is 46. What if it was 46? Would that be right in between? So let me think. 42 plus 4 is 46. 46 plus 4 is 50. If you're really not sure about this, guys and girls, and you are having trouble thinking of a strategy, what most people do is they add together 42 and 50. Okay? Then they take that number and divide it by 2. 2 fits into 9 4 times. And 2 fits into 12 6 times. So that also tells you how to find your median, your middle number. Of course, you could always use a calculator, add the two together, and then divide by 2 to figure out what goes in the middle. Okay? All right, hopefully this helps and you don't run into any problems that give you a really hard time. I did make your SMART score requirement 50. If you have any questions, make sure you email me and I will get back to you and help you out. Okay, thanks.